Hey, it's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, where I teach you how to love your life and lose the weight. Do you know the number one thing keeping you from losing weight is not lack of willpower or emotional eating or bad genes? The number one thing keeping you from losing weight is feeling like a failure. When you feel like a failure, you are less likely to take action, and then your confidence also starts to drain. And when you stop taking action and you feel like you don't have what it takes to achieve your goal, pretty soon you don't feel like that you keep failing, you feel like you are the failure. So in today's video, I want to give you 2 strategies to turn it around. Strategy number 1, reframe everything. You use this strategy a lot more than you think you do, but when you reframe everything, especially your failures, and you turn them into successes, you get unstuck and you keep moving forward. So for example, I used to eat energy bars all the time. I thought they were super healthy, and whenever I was hungry and needed a snack, I would grab a power bar or something like that. But because I viewed these bars as being healthy, I didn't feel like a failure. The reality is that a lot of those energy bars amount to nothing more than a candy bar. They have about the same ingredients in some cases. They're high in calories, high in fat. But because I thought they were healthy, I felt positive and confident, and I kept on going. But if I've ever eaten a candy bar, I can promise you I did not feel like I succeeded. I probably felt like a failure, and then I started all over and had to get back to square one and begin again. I'm sure you've done this too. So if you've ever been out to dinner on your birthday and all of your friends ordered you a cake, you had a slice of birthday cake after the meal, and I'm sure you didn't feel like a failure. You didn't feel like you completely fell off the wagon and had to start all over again. However, if you've been out to dinner with your friends and you had your meal and then you decided, you know what, I'm gonna get a big piece of chocolate cake for dessert, would you feel like a failure then? Yes, you would. So it's all how you look at it. The difference in these 2 scenarios that I just gave you was only a simple shift in perspective. But what do you do in a case where you feel like there's no possible way to reframe it, that what you just did was nothing but a resounding failure? Well, that leads me to strategy number 2, which is make a distinction. When you make a new distinction, all you're doing is learning from what you just did. If you do something where you really feel like it was a tremendous failure, but you take away one thing that you can use for next time, then it's all of a sudden a success. It can't be otherwise. So really, there's really no such thing as failure. There's only learning and growing and using distinctions that you can take with you the next time. So here's an example. Say you're out to dinner with your friends again, and you order a sandwich and a side of fries. And before the meal comes, you have a glass of wine or 2 maybe with your girlfriends, and by the time the meal gets there, you're starving and you scarf down the entire plate of food, including the fries, which you were only going to have a few of. So in that case, most of us, including me, back in my good old days of dieting, I would have felt like a huge failure. I would have woken up the next morning and I would have said, I'm so disgusting, I have no willpower, why couldn't I just stop eating? However, if you scroll back the clock and look at what actually happened, maybe you could see that if you hadn't had that glass of wine or the second one before the meal came, you would have been a lot more focused and felt like that you were in more control of what you were doing, and you probably would not have completely scarfed down that whole plate of fries. So in that case, you made a distinction. You have something that you can take with you the next time you go to dinner with your girlfriends. If you order the same meal, but you choose consciously to drink a glass of sparkling water before your food gets there and then have a glass of wine, you're feeling in control, you're present, you're in the moment, and I'm certain that the next time you have dinner with your friends like that and you have that information to use, you absolutely will not make the same choices and you won't fail. Honestly, there's no such thing as failure. If you choose to reframe everything, change how you see it, and you make distinctions, you choose to make distinctions from the failures that you experience, there is no failure. And to me, failure just means you're really one step closer to your goal. I hope these tips were helpful, and I wrote about this in my last blog post. If you want to head to my website at CamilleMartinRD.com and check it out. While you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter so you can get more tips, inspiration, and motivation on your weight loss journey. Thanks so much for watching.